Happy Pine Day to everybody in the Pine religion, the Pine cult,
The
the
pine cone,
Pine, the Pine cone.
traffic cones.
We could talk about cones for hours, but that's not the topic of our episode today.
Yeah, Justin Hall, prime example. I'm sorry, Justin. If you're out there, I didn't mean it. I'm sorry.
My boy chirping Justin Hall is Drake White. I'm Martin Irving as always. And Drake, your shirt, there's something different with it.
Yeah. You know what? I decided I wanted to throw back to my midget days, so I put a C on it. I'm not sure if that looks like the bright green C on my shirt today. I always feel nostalgic.
Just like your hockey days, that C looks to be pretty temporary.
Come on now, I wore it all year. It was just temporary because of COVID. Leave me alone.
We might talk about some temporary captains today. We're just gonna talk about there seems to be a lot of guys, newer guys donning the C. There might be some guys that might not be donning it later on. And we're just gonna talk about that. We're gonna see.
I
We're
see. I
gonna
see what you did there. Oh, I did it too.
we're gonna talk about this. So there's a few guys that have been named new captains to their team. Why don't we talk about probably the newest, well, it's not the newest, I think it's one of the newer ones, but
The newest?
he
That'd
replaced
be that'd be Backlund.
that's not where I was going, but why the hell not just
You
talk about
said the
it.
newest. You said the newest. That would have been Mikkel Backlund.
Okay, we'll talk about Backlund then.
Well, I mean, who were you going for?
Just talk about it. I'll lead on later with a segue.
Okay, fine. Yeah, yeah. Mikkel Backlund, now the captain. So we were wrong again.
We were.
What was it, a couple of weeks ago? We said we thought it was going to be Rasmus Anderson and Backlund was going to get traded. And oh, bless you. Oh, bless you again. No. Anyways, no. Yeah,
I had
you
to mute
distracted me.
I had to mute the
Yeah,
mic there.
I saw
That
that, but I
wasn't
could
a
still see
dab,
that.
that was a
No, I
sneeze.
could see you sneezing. That's why I said bless you.
Yeah, there was no that wasn't a dab for anybody wondering.
No, I'll dab later though.
Go
Maybe. Same as I'll hit the
for it.
gritty like I do.
Hit the gritty.
I hit the dab instead. Back to my Fortnite days. Be just like
We just gave
Petrolina.
we just gave somebody flashbacks by telling them to hit the gritty if they watch this podcast.
Yeah, she definitely doesn't.
No.
All right, back to our story. Yeah, we were completely wrong. We thought it was going to be Rasmus Anderson, and Mikhail Backlund proceeded to get named captain and signed. It was like I think it was a 2 year extension, so he's captain there for the next 3 years. Um, I actually kind of like it. Mainly that he's sticking around, but I mean, because he stuck around, he was the surefire pick. I don't think there was anybody there that they thought was going to be him longer. He's the longest tenured Flame. He's had the A for the last million years at this rate. I don't think he can go wrong with Mikkel Backlund. He's a good player. He's been there, through the dark days in Calgary. He's been there for the good days in Calgary. I mean, he's going to be there for the next 3 years. So I don't know. I think that's a ballpark decision there.
Yeah, I think both of us had a Rasmus Anderson as our pick. But you can't go wrong with Backlund. He's survived some dark times in Calgary, and as they look to go upwards, he'll guide them hopefully to glory.
Yeah, why? And I think he's the perfect guy to have there too, because I mean, he's a guy with a little bit of pedigree. He carries himself high on the ice. He can produce offensively decently enough, but I mean, his big thing has always been his two-way game. So I mean, that'll be good for a lot of the younger rookies coming in. He'll kind of be able to teach them, lead them a little bit more. Take a couple of the younger guys like a Coronado or a Pelletier or a Zeri down under his wing and just kind of show them the ropes. And I think I don't think he could have gotten any better. I mean, other than Rasmus Anderson, I think he was like the clear pick.
Another Canadian team. Actually,
There's two.
there's two other Canadian teams that have new captains. Let's go west a little bit. Talk about
They're
the
both
Canucks.
west.
Quinn
They're
Hughes.
both west.
No, the one's east to him.
Yeah, but they're both west. They're both west from us. They're both in the Western Conference.
We're just talking about Calgary, so I'm talking about geographically.
Oh, all right. We'll go west.
We'll
You
go
want to talk
west.
Quinn Hughes?
We'll talk about Quinn Hughes.
All right, I'll talk about Quinn Hughes. I also like the pick. I don't know. I think we talked about this. What was it, last week or
It,
the
it
episode
was it was
before?
done in an episode, yeah.
Yeah, we did mention Quinn Hughes. I do like it though, because I mean, again, it was one of those teams where I don't think there were many options that they could have gone with. I think the only other reasonable option was Elias Pettersson. But I mean, I'm pretty sure his contract's up at the end of the year, so that might have been why they veered away from that, and favored in Hughes, he's had the A, he's locked in for a longer term. I mean, the only other guy you could think they would give it to would be like JT Miller. So yeah, again, I think Quinn Hughes is the guy that you want to have the face of your franchise. And I think he's the guy that you're going to want to lead you into the future because you know he's going to be around all the way through and he's only going to get better. And that team's going to look up to him as he gets older.
Yeah, Hughes was the obvious pick, there's been a lot of rumblings if Pedersen's gonna stay in Vancouver or not. So why not get a guy that
He's staying in
will be
Vancouver.
stable?
He's not leaving.
Yeah, I don't necessarily see like an obvious way. It could go both ways. He could stay, he could go. But uh, Hughes is the obvious pick for me.
Yeah, he's kind of like the heart and soul of the team. When people think about the Vancouver Canucks, the first two guys they think of these days are Pedersen and Hughes. So, I mean, and I guess Louis Erickson. Some people definitely think Louis Erickson. Um, Actually, you know what? They should have given Louis the C. Bring him back for a 1 year deal. Give him the C.
Yeah, if giving up an own goal on your first game on
Yeah,
your new
exactly.
team got
Put
you
him in the record
captaincy,
books.
he'd be
Yeah,
there.
go right down in history, man. First captain to score on his own net in his first game with his own team.
That was a beautiful moment.
It really was.
So 3 of 3 for Canadian teams. We go east and we fly out to Winnipeg.
Yeah, I really like the Adam Lowry pick. Uh, most people might have told you, they thought it was going to be Shifley. I didn't think it was going to be Shifley just based on the reports that we heard about, Shifley and Wheeler. I mean, we don't know what happened in the room, but, there were some pretty unsavory reports coming out of that dressing room. So I think that might have shut Shifley down, as well as, he's a pending UFA this year. So that would push them away from it as well. So, I mean, outside of Lowry, I was thinking, the only other guy would really be like Josh Morrissey. He's really stepped up, but again, I don't think you can go wrong with Adam Lowry. He's a good bottom sixer. He can jump up in the lineup a bit, but he works his ass off every single game. And I mean that's what you want in a captain. It doesn't necessarily need to be your best player. It needs to be the guy that's going to go out, give 110% every night, and the boys are going to look up to that. I don't think you can go wrong with picking a guy purely based on how hard he's going to work and clearly he's a big guy in the dressing room too. So I mean, I think it's the perfect fit. He's going to be there for a long time. Jets fans love him. He's a fan favorite. So I mean, I think he's the perfect kind to have as your face of the franchise.
Yeah, I think you know when we did our predictions, I don't think we predicted Lowry, but you know what? I like the pick a lot. He's a he's a definition of a team player. He's the face of the franchise there in Winnipeg, and he's a solid pick for sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, I had Lowry in like the back of my head, but I was thinking Josh Morrissey all the way. But I mean, you even look at the picture, like he looks so happy and so proud of himself to be the captain of the Winnipeg Jets. Like you need more captains like that. They get like all bubbly and happy about it when they get the captaincy. Like that's what you love to see with those guys because it shows how much they love the city, how much they love the team, and just passion in general, right? There's some guys that are made to be captains. I think Lowry is one of them.
No, I definitely agree. Um, we hit 3 out of 3 there for the Canadian teams. Let's go south the border there, and the first team I have in mind is a team that had a captain for a long time. So this vacancy is the first one in a long time.
Oh my God, I know where you're going with this.
I'm talking about the Boston Bruins.
Oh yeah,
To
that is
to
not
your
where I thought.
surprise,
That is not where you said a captain for a long time. That is not who I thought you were talking about.
well, to your surprise, uh, they
They went with Brad Marchand. Spit it out.
no, that's not where I was going with that. I was gonna chirp you, but I couldn't get it
Well,
together.
too
So,
bad.
well, yeah,
Too bad I beat you to it.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, Marchand. It makes a lot of sense to have Marchand as captain. He's been around the team quite a long time now. It was either going to be him or Pasta. There was no real debate
nah, could
about
have been
those two.
McAvoy. Could have been McAvoy. I think he was a front
McAvoy
runner too.
too, but
Um,
I could have seen either one of those two really easily. Brad Marchand makes a lot of sense. It's kind of controversial because he's a kind of controversial player. But you know what? There's not a lot of guys on that team anymore that have been there as long as he has. He knows the locker room, he knows the team, and it makes a lot of sense. So
See, I love the pick. At first, I was kind of like, yeah. I mean, like he does have his antics, right? And it gets him in trouble, and that's not what you want in a captain. But when you really look at it with Brad Marchand, he's kind of cleaned up his act. Since the infamous licking incident. He's kind of taken a tech, taking a step back and go like, whoa, like this is this is not how I want myself to be seen, right? I need to be better. And he's really grown up over the last couple of years. He's really matured into a captain. I think Bergeron, being the captain for the last couple of years has only helped him. But it's clear that the team rallies around him. He's a big part of their locker room. He goes out, he works every night. He gives his team a chance to win, even when Bergeron was out last year. Like Marchand really stepped up as a leader. Again, the antics might be a bit of a problem if he does do that. But you know what? It adds a little bit more controversy. I think he was the right pick. He's been in the system since 2006. He was there for their Stanley Cup win, right? He's the last. I'm pretty sure he's the last piece, one of the last pieces in the NHL actually from that. It's like him and Sagan.
and Luch.
Yeah, and Lucic. Yes, my bad. Right. So yeah, I think Brad Marchand was the right pick here. Had it not been him, I do think it could have been Charlie McAvoy. He's locked in long term. He's a younger guy. They've kind of been grooming him up to being, sort of the next captain. I think that's the direction they're going to go after Marchand because he's getting up there in age too. But no, right now I don't think you can go wrong with Brad Marchand. Off the ice, he's a bit of a character. He's a bit of a classy guy off the ice, though. On the ice, he's a bit of a pest. He plays his role perfectly, but I mean, it's not like he's the only guy and the only captain in the league that doesn't have a bit of a bite to his game. So I'll be interested to see how his first season as captain goes.
Yeah, I another team that recently named a captain. We're moving over the Western Conference.
There's two.
Uh, there is two. The first one I'm going to go with here is the St. Louis Blues.
I love it.
Recently named Braden Shen as captain. He's one of the few guys left from that cup team a few years ago. Uh, Once again, seems like an obvious pick. He's been around forever. He's a veteran at this point, and it makes a lot of sense for him to be captain.
Man, you're making me feel old, saying that that's one of the last parts of the cup team. Because, I mean, you are so, like, on point. Like, that team just blew up so fast. It's like him and Parayko and Bartuzo, Binnington,
Thomas,
yeah, Thomas. I don't think Kyrie was there at that point.
no, not at that point.
But, yeah, like, wow. Take me down a bit of a memory lane there. But no, I think Braden Shen again. Like this was a hit from St. Louis. I think he was the right call to step in after Ryan O'Reilly. He's worn the A for a long time. He's really been that guy ever since he showed up in St. Louis when he, after the trade. I think he was the right pick. And he's there for a long time. He clearly loves his city. And I mean, that really opens up a lot of doors in St. Louis again to have another change up. Last time they had Ryan O'Reilly. Before that, they had Alex Pietrangelo, both amazing leaders. So let's see if they can go 3 for 3, and I think they will.
It seems like a home run already, but St. Louis, they're in need of a bit of an identity right now. They're still dealing with all the cup team dismantling, and they need some some direction, and I think Shen's the guy to do that.
I really agree with that. I think you know, again, I like your comment about identity because that's exactly it. They really do need an identity. They didn't have one last year, even under O'Reilly. They needed a bit of a shakeup. O'Reilly's now over in a divisional rival. But this gives them a lot of opportunity to kind of change up how they want to do things, change the culture in the room, maybe, and maybe just the way Shen carries himself as a captain. People might respect that even more than they already did for him.
Drake, we have one more team.
This is the most controversial choice of all, too.
How about you introduce this one?
Wait, no, I was thinking the wrong team. I'm sorry, I was way off. I was thinking the wrong team. Where were we going with this?
You said
Who
we
did
had
I?
one more team.
No, 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 no. You know what? I realized we didn't have one more team. I was thinking Chicago for a second, and then I realized Chicago doesn't have a captain. I was ready to like jump in, start talking about who should be other captains. I'm like getting ahead of myself tonight.
I was gonna say I couldn't think of another one.
Yeah, I don't know what I was doing there. I even have my big list there, and it only has 4 teams marked, so I don't know what I was doing there. Ooh, I'm losing it.
There's still a few teams that don't have captains though.
There are tons of teams that don't have captains. Actually, no, I think it's only 4. Let's see, Anaheim, Arizona, Chicago, and Philadelphia. Wow, that's got to be a record in the league.
Yeah.
Oh wait, and Seattle. My bad. It's 5.
So, oh yeah, Seattle too.
Yeah, I forgot about Seattle. I forgot Giordano was gone apparently.
Yeah,
No, my bad, my bad. No,
he's
like,
only been in Toronto for like almost a year now.
right? No, he's been there over a year now.
Oh, over, yeah. For some
He was
reason, I thought he
there. He
came
was a
over this year,
deadline
but
in their
no, he
first
came over,
year.
yeah, 2 years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
Jeez,
Well,
time flies.
what team do you want to talk about first then?
I think the one with the obvious pick for me, that would be the Coyotes.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be JJ Mosier.
Was that the obvious pick for you?
Yeah,
Really?
obviously. No,
Alrighty.
Clayton Keller,
Yeah,
bro. I had the Keller jersey out and everything. Look at that.
that's beautiful.
It's kind of blurry, but like,
Yeah.
come on, that's the obvious pick, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was my obvious pick. And then you were making me question if it was actually obvious or not. Thank
No,
you for all the second doubts I just had.
oh man. If you think that Clayton Keller is not going to be the captain of the Arizona Coyotes, I mean, there's only one guy I would even think on that team anymore, and that'd be like Lawson Krause. But like, nah, like
No,
Clayton Keller, he's locked in. He's passionate about the city. You know, he's the star player on that team. He's gonna be the captain, whether it's this year or whether it's next year. Clayton Keller will be the captain of the Arizona Coyotes, no question.
the one that doesn't really have an obvious choice for me, and it's a very confusing team, is the Anaheim Ducks.
Anaheim is interesting. Well, I mean, who are you thinking? Because I'll hop into a little bit here, but who are you thinking?
I don't even know who's on that team anymore. I would
That's fair.
say if he stays healthy, like
Silverberg.
no, that's not quite where I was going with that one. I was gonna say Alex Killorn.
That's an interesting pick for captain. Not
He's
who
a
I was thinking, but
I can't even think of who's on that team right now. I can just think of all the young guys, and none of them really scream captain to me. So
I mean, yeah, I got a couple guys here for you.
go for it.
I mean, like Anaheim, they haven't had a captain since Ryan Getzlaff. That was 2 years ago. He retired now, I think.
I think so. Yeah.
Right, but I mean, But big shoes to fill. Getzlaff had been the captain for well over a decade.
Long time.
Um, you know, he was that guy in Anaheim, one of the best players in Anaheim. However, I do think that there's two guys I think are really in the front running, and there is a third that I think could definitely be an under the radar pick. I mean, this year we've seen a lot of under the radar guys. Quinn Hughes, Adam Lowry, Braden Shen. Maybe not enough people were thinking, but people were thinking Colt Parayko. Brad Marchand might have been a little bit under the radar. Personally, like first off, I think it'd be weird if Zegras isn't in that talk. He's a younger guy, but he is the face of that franchise. He just signed a 3-year deal. Um, I think it'd be weird if he's not at least in the running, because like I said, like he's the guy in Anaheim. He's the top player there. When people think Anaheim now, they think of Zegras, whether it's for the good or the bad. Another option I think could be Cam Fowler. He's getting up there as one of the longer tenured Ducks. He's been an A for a long time. He's still got a number of years on his deal. I don't think you go wrong with Cam Fowler. He's one of the older guys there. He'd be there, guide a lot of their younger defensemen, as they go. But the other guy, I think, and this is a little bit under the table, most people might not think about it, but Mason McTavish.
Okay.
I'm really thinking Mason McTavish. And I
I
don't
don't have
why, but
anything against that
he
pick for sure.
screams captain to me.
Yeah, he was a he was a leader in junior all his career. And
Well, exactly. He was the captain in Peterborough. He was the captain at the World Juniors. I'm pretty sure. I think he was, wasn't he?
I think so.
I think he was.
Yeah, I think so too.
And I mean, it helps too. Is like it's in his blood because his dad was a captain too
Yeah.
in Edmonton. So I mean, yeah, I think if they're going for an under the radar, I think Mason McTavish might be an option too. But at the end of the day, I do think that's probably going to be Cam Fowler.
I
I can't
forgot
see
that
whether it's
Fowler
not Cam
played for
Fowler.
them.
Yeah, I mean, it's reasonable. Like, it's a revolving door in Anaheim anyway. They don't really know what they're doing half the time. Imagine
Yeah.
poor John Gibson, how he feels.
I do like that pick though. That the
Yeah,
more
I
I
think
think
Cam
about it, the
Fowler's the right
more
pick. He can handle
yeah.
the pressure. He's an older guy. And he's not going to constantly be in the media for, something crazy like Zegras. Because Zegras
Yeah.
has a bit of a grease streak to him.
Yeah, Zegers doesn't scream captain to me at all.
Now, he has a little bit too many antics. Not like a Brad Marchand antic, but he definitely has antics going.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. I think, honestly, there's one team, though. Like, it looks clear, but it's not clear. And I think it's Chicago.
Yeah,
Chicago's an interesting situation because they go one of two ways.
I think there's an obvious pick eventually. At the moment, it seems like most of the guys there are just rentals at the moment. There's not anybody that screams like
I mean,
of all the veterans, nobody that screams long terms to me. I
I
don't think
mean,
Foligno's a long term, and I don't think Hall's a long term.
there is a guy there that's, on contract for like the next 7 years, but go off.
Yeah, but I mean, it's pretty obvious that Bedard's going to be the captain there eventually.
Oh, Bedard's
Like,
not the captain. I'd be surprised. He's the
I
captain, and like I'll go into my gush. I'll let you talk first because I'll just start gushing about Bedard.
I think until that happens, they could name Taylor Hall as captain. He was previously captain in New Jersey.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, he wore the C in New Jersey.
No, he didn't. It
He
was
did.
Andy Green.
No, it did
Taylor Hall
didn't
wore the A.
Green went to the Islanders and then
Yeah, Hall got traded the same year.
where did Hall wear the C then?
Hall never wore a C in the
He's
NHL.
wore the C at one point.
No, he hasn't. He was on Edmonton. He wasn't the captain in Edmonton.
You're making me trip here.
He wasn't the captain in New Jersey. He wasn't the captain in Buffalo. He wasn't the captain in Arizona. And he wasn't the captain in Boston. Taylor Hall was never the captain. He got traded around the same time as Andy Green, I believe. Because he went to the Coyotes the same season when they started
Taylor
selling.
Hall to replace Oilers captain.
He
wore the
never served
C.
as captain though.
He wore the C in Edmonton.
No, he didn't. Taylor Hall never wore the C because it was Andrew Ference. There was a 2 year break, and then it was Connor McDavid.
Man, I'm tripping then.
Yeah, Taylor Hall never wore the C, man.
I don't know why I have memory of him doing it at least one point,
Yeah, no,
but
no, it was never Taylor Hall. So
wow, this
unless
is
you're thinking like junior,
no,
I don't
I
even know if
I'm
he had it in junior.
no, I don't think so. I'm tripping though. I could have
You
sworn he
are
was captain
tripping.
at one point.
No, he was never captain. It was Andy
I would,
Green.
yeah. I was gonna say I hope a team wouldn't name him captain, but to each their own.
Yeah, but no, I Chicago is an interesting choice because I mean I think it's pretty clear it's going to be Connor Bedard. You know, when you get a generational prospect like this, teams don't really wait. Connor McDavid got it when he was 19. Sidney Crosby got it when he was 19. I mean, Gabriel Landeskog also had it as a 19-year-old, though he's not generational. So I mean, wouldn't be in outside the realm of possibility that next year they name Connor Bedard captain. Um, he's one of those guys where, despite the fact he's only 18, he carries himself very professionally. He's somebody that, you know, you read more about him and you come to respect him more as a leader and the type of person he is. Like his parents did an excellent job with him. There was that stuff with Matvey Michkov where he allegedly actually reached out and, you know, just kind of tried to, console him a bit after the passing of his father, right? And just kind of like, like you're a great player, man. Like I can't wait to see what you do. I'm sure your father's going to be proud. If you ever need anybody anywhere to stay, if you're ever in Vancouver, our doors always open. Like whatever, right? Um, like that just kind of shows you the class of a guy like Connor Bedard. He was the captain all the way through junior. I don't think you can go wrong with naming Connor Bedard your captain next year. But if that's not the route you want to go, I mean, I think at that point, I think it would be maybe Connor Murphy, but most likely I think it'd be Seth Jones.
Right.
If you're looking for a guy to stick around as captain for a couple years before Bedard, I think Seth Jones is your guy.
Once again, I got to brush up on my hockey knowledge because I forgot Seth Jones was in Chicago.
Well, clearly, as soon as you started talking about how everybody was a rental, I'm like, there's a guy with like 8 years there. I was talking about Seth Jones.
Yeah, I forgot he was there to be honest. I
I mean,
haven't watched Chicago game in years, so
because Chicago's not that good.
yeah.
But yeah, like I think Seth Jones is definitely in the running too. He was propped up as, being the next captain in Columbus after Foligno got traded. He got traded shortly after, so it didn't really matter. But I think it was something I read too, right, where he actually expressed, interest in being the captain, right? Like he thinks he wants to be the captain there. He said he's learned a lot over, the last couple of years from a couple of leaders that he's played with, Mikko Koivu, Nick Foligno, right? So I mean, he's been groomed up to be a captain. Oh, Shea Weber, right? Like he's had it since he started. So I think if you're looking for a guy to be longer term before Bedard, yeah, Seth Jones wouldn't hurt, right?
Yeah,
He's an older guy with the media. Maybe you don't want Connor Bedard getting blasted after every game. But I still think it would be Bedard though, because I mean Chicago had a younger captain too, and Jonathan Toews before, because he was captain for absolutely forever too, and he got the captaincy when he was like 19 or 20 himself.
yeah. It seems like a foregone conclusion at this point. You just kind of
It'll be
it's
Bedard's.
it's a matter of when.
Yeah, yeah. One of these days it will be Connor Bedard, and the day that it happens, his jersey sales are going to go through the roof even more.
Oh yeah.
Right? It's very rare that you get a player of his caliber in general, but where you get one where he's as humble as he is as well.
Yeah, he's just a he's been taught very well and he's just a natural born captain.
Yeah, I agree.
One more team to talk about.
Two
Another
more
one that I have.
teams.
Is there two more?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go the Flyers route here.
Yeah, okay. So I know who you're forgetting.
Yeah, I got a couple ideas. The first one that I think yells captain to me is Travis Konechny. The second one I have, it's a bit of an odder one, but I think Owen Tippett could also don the C.
That's an
Those
interesting
guys,
pick.
those guys scream. Well, Travis Konechny more so. He's been around that team for a while now. He just seems to me to be the obvious choice, but I feel like
Tippett gets it
Tippett,
because he's a redhead.
that too, I guess.
Who was
But
your other guy?
well, those are my
Or
two
was that
guys.
it? Oh, you only had two guys.
I only had
Oh,
two
I
guys.
got three guys.
Okay.
First off, like I think the surefire pick is definitely Sean Couturier.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I can't see where Sean Couturier is not the rightful, heir apparent to Claude Giroux. He's redhead, so it works. He's been around that team for around a decade now. He's worn the A for a long time. He did miss out on all the last season, right? But I think Sean Couturier could definitely be that guy. I do agree with you on Travis Konechny, though. I think Konechny is a guy that, if you're looking to have a captain that's going to be there for the long term, I don't think you can go wrong with Konechny. He's gonna stick up for his teammates. He's gonna be the face of your team. So why not? But I also think that Travis Sanheim could definitely be in the mix too. You
Okay.
know,
Interesting. I didn't
locked in
consider that
long
previously.
term. Locked in long term. He's going to be expected to step up more as a leader with Ivan Provorov out of the lineup now. So I think Travis Sanheim could definitely be an option as well. You know, uh, Kind of similar to a Trouba, where he might not be your best player, but he's going to go out. He's going to stick up for his teammates every night and possibly well respected in the room as well.
Yeah, those are huge to have on your roster. And yeah,
In
that's a
more
good
ways
pick.
than
I
one.
didn't previously consider, but I like that pick a lot.
Yeah, I was very happy when they came up with it because normally I would have said Provorov, but I mean he's in Columbus now, so
Yeah.
yeah. And yeah, no. So the team you were forgetting, you're never going to believe this. Starts with an S, ends with a Kraken.
Oh, yeah,
I can't believe you forgot the Seattle Kraken.
the
They've only had one
Kraken.
captain in their entire history, and you forgot that they don't have that guy anymore.
Yeah, the Seattle Kraken, the
Kraken.
Mark Giordano less Kraken.
Poor guys. They had such a good captain. What happened?
Yeah, well, they
They
didn't have a
sucked. That's
captain
what
prior
happened.
to Calgary didn't have a captain either prior to this because Mark Giordano also left Calgary.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah,
Calgary. Calgary.
he's just leaving teams without an identity.
Yeah, apparently. No, 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 no. But he left and Seattle got better.
No, Seattle did get way better.
Yeah, but no, like Seattle, Seattle is definitely a mixed basket of who it could possibly be, right? Like there are so many guys on that team that could be in the running for it, right? You got Jordan Eberle, he's the veteran on the team. He's currently in a leadership role. He's been through it all. There's Adam Larson, who's really stepped it up. He's been an A before in the past. You got Vince Dunn, who's this new young stud on the block. There's Yanni Gourde, who's been in rumors to be the captain since the team came about. There's Jared McCann, who's their star player, and there's Matty Beniers, who is the future face of the franchise. It could be any of those guys, which means I'm going to be completely wrong, and it's going to be like Tanev, right? But I, uh, I think it could be any of them, but I think they might just wait it out and go with Matty Beniers.
Benier seems like a great choice. He's one of their young guns there. He's gonna be a real well, he is a stud already, but he's gonna become more of one as the years go by. Um, Out of the veteran players, and it's weird to call him a veteran because I feel like we were watching him in the World Juniors yesterday, absolutely light it up. Um, Eberle was my pick for captain. I don't know why. I think
He's mine
he's
too.
He's one of the oldest guys on that roster. I don't have the stats with me, but I think he is the oldest
And he's
player
not
on
even
that
that old
roster now.
either.
He's not, but he just seems like the obvious pick for me. He's a player I've always really loved, and I'd love to see him get the C.
And he has amazing goal calls over the years too.
Yes, I can.
Jordan Eberle, goal. Jordan Eberle. Can't beat
Yes,
that
I
goal.
can.
No, you.
Yes, I can.
Yes, you can. No, Jordan Eberle and Tyler Seguin. I don't know, but I don't think you can go wrong with Jordan Eberle. And I think he's in there for the next little while. He really upped his game last year, with the dad power. I think he'd be the right port, the right choice. He's probably like the dad of the team anyway, so why not?
Yeah, he's my pick for sure.
And actually, I think that's all the teams now.
I think we did finally cross them all off.
Yeah, so I mean, the only thing left now is to figure out what teams are going to be possibly losing their captains soon. There's a couple of them. I'm not sure if you've been keeping up on your rumors, Martin, but Steven Stamkos might not be on the Tampa Bay Lightning next year.
Yes, I heard in a interview with him that he apparently is very frustrated that there's been
He's
absolutely
frustrated.
no further contract talks for extending him next year. So, I mean, if you remember, if we jump way back when to the off season of 2016, he almost became a free agent that year, and
He
then
almost
Tampa
became a
signed him to
Toronto
a
Maple
very
Leaf that
hefty
year.
contract.
He was
Will
almost a
this be the
Toronto Maple
year
Leaf.
that Stamkos finally becomes a free agent?
You know what? I think this situation's a bit of a weird one because I mean he's led you to two cups. He's been your captain, for a long time now. He took over from Martin St. Louis. Before that was Vincent Lecavalier. So you got to think. You think of when those guys were in the league and on Tampa, right? Like that was a long time ago. He's been that guy for that long. But like I think to Stamkos, I'm like, it's weird that they wouldn't at least, even reach out and go, hey, we're gonna leave this, wait and see how the season goes, and then we'll circle back. But then you gotta imagine, when you're Steven Stamkos, you see them turn around and give, Hagel a massive deal and, give Janot a long-term deal. And you're just kind of sitting there like, hey man, like I'm the captain. I will take a pay cut. And like where's mine? Right? Like it's I'd feel disrespected. So I think it could go either way. I think it depends on how they do over the season, and specifically how Stamkos does. But I would not be surprised to see him hit the free agent market. And it'll be weird to see him in not a blue and white jersey again. But I mean, I think it might be coming close. The end of the dominant era for Tampa Bay is definitely coming up now. So I think that will be officially signaled by the departure of Steven Stamkos.
Stammer's been there for it all. He helped bring that team back to relevancy after they hit rock bottom there in the late 2000s. He's led that team for a long, long time, and it's like you said, it seems disrespectful to him. That's when you look up a team captain in a dictionary, you see Steven Stamkos.
Actually, I
You
see
know,
Patrice Bergeron, but yeah, I see Steven Stamkos in there too.
Stamkos, first ballot Hall of Famer when he retires. He's literally like been that guy for so long, and it just it took them a long time to finally get a cup. They came close in 2015 there. They had that collapse in 2019 that really could have spelled the end of that team, but
But
they
they
managed
stuck
to
with it.
keep it going under the
Yeah.
captaincy of Steven Stamkos.
And I
Like
think there were rumors of stripping Stamkos after that too. Like I
that
think
was
people
just
were speculating that would happen. I mean, I think it was the right call that it didn't happen. But I mean, in the event that Steven Stamkos leaves, like that's really an end of an era for there, in Tampa Bay. But I do think there's a couple guys that would, be capable of taking over the reins. I think, your surefire is definitely Victor Hedman.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, he's been propped up as the next captain for a long time. I do think Nikita Kucherov could definitely be in the running, right, as their top player. I think Braden Point could definitely be a pick, right? He's going to be there a long time. He's going to be the face of the team when Stamkos is gone. And I also think, you like we've seen this year that teams are willing to go a little bit off the board with what people expect. What about Anthony Cirelli?
Cirelli's a guy that he's not a superstar in the NHL, but what he does on the ice, like he's a clutch guy. He's a performer. You saw in those playoff runs he made. He steps up at exactly the right time. He's a playoff performer, and he's just a guy that shows up when you need him to, and he's just a solid player. He scores clutch goals. Look way back when, 2015, scoring the game winner in the Memorial Cup. He scored few huge goals in the playoffs in overtime for Tampa during their run. And yeah, Sorelli's a really underrated guy, and I never understood why because like he's a performer.
Yeah, no, and I mean, Cirelli's one of those ones too where he knows he has to work because he went undrafted the OHL. He proceeded to captain the team to a Memorial Cup, right? And then he dragged himself up to the NHL, won two Stanley Cups as, a key member of that team. I think I think Anthony Cirelli would definitely be in the conversation, but like I said earlier, I do think Victor Hedman is like locked in if Stamkos leaves. Um, I think it's just a matter of time.
There's another team in blue that you mentioned to me. I don't see it being as likely, but you mentioned John Tavares.
John Tavares is an interesting one, right? Because I don't think he leaves. He has 2 years left on his deal, so he's definitely not going to walk. Right? Toronto will re-sign him. He'll re-sign for cheaper. It's more the question of does he choose to retire? Because I believe at the end of his contract he'll be 35, I believe. Right? Do maybe past injuries catch up to him? Does he slow down and decide he's going to call it quits? Um, I don't think it's likely, but I definitely think that there are definitely some clear choices in the roster. Um, Most notably Morgan Riley. I don't know. I think if John Tavares retired today, Morgan Riley is the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs. If John Tavares doesn't sign and he goes back to the Islanders, Morgan Riley is the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
You know, I don't
There's
think I don't think Tavares is retiring anytime soon. He put up a point. He was a point a game guy last year, and he's
Yeah,
still
we're going
solid.
hypothetically here. Hypothetically.
I watched him last night. He put up 2 goals. He looked pretty great still.
Okay, but
Um,
Vern, hypothetically, let's say John Tavares retires at the end of his contract.
so you want me to pick a guy?
Yeah, pick some guys.
Well,
I have three.
before they named Tavares as captain, I had Mo the whole time
Yeah, so did I.
as my captain. And if that were to happen, he's the obvious pick. He's been there through thick and thin. He was there during the really awful teams of the early 2010s, and he continues to battle. He's I think their longest reigning player. He's
He is
definitely
right
their longest
now.
reigning player.
He's the
Yeah,
longest tenured player. He's been there since 2012.
yeah, he's been there
Nobody
a
else has
while.
been there that long. Not even
Yeah,
close.
so he's the obvious one for sure.
Yeah, but I do think, I do think, there's a world where they might consider Austin Matthews. And I do think it's definitely a possibility that the hometown boy gets the captaincy if Tavares were to leave. Right?
Yeah.
I could see Mitch Marner with C.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
He's like the heart and soul of that team, right? I could see Mitch Marner as the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I think he would love it.
Yeah. Both are very likely options if that were to happen.
Yeah, and actually, there's another team too, and the captain he's still in the league. He's a little bit injured, and I mean it is question whether he's even going to play another game. But Gabriel Landeskog. And before we hop into who you think might be able to succeed Landeskog, I got a question for you. Landeskog's been captain for about 10 years now. Do you remember who the captain was the year before Landeskog? No looking it up.
Was it was it not Eric Johnson?
Nope, it was not Johnson.
No, I don't remember.
Think about it for a second. I'll give you a second. Think about some notable players that have played with Colorado early 2010s.
I don't remember much of Colorado back then, to be honest.
All right, three, two, one. It's not who you were expecting. It was Milan Hajduk.
Right.
And before that was Adam Foote, and before that was Joe Sakic.
Yeah, I remember those two, but
Yeah, no, well, I looked, I'm like, oh my God, yeah, Hajduk was the captain there. Right. I forgot about that. Mainly because I was like 10.
yeah, and Colorado wasn't doing too much back then, so
No, Colorado wasn't that good. But yeah, no, like it was I mean, Gabriel Landeskog, you know, say he's never able to play again. He ends up being like a Shea Weber or, you know, that kind of situation where he's just never able to get back out again on that contract. Who do you think it's gonna be?
I have an obvious pick. I think it's obvious. There's sometimes I have to remind myself that he's not actually the captain of Colorado.
Wait, wait,
And
wait. Can I guess who you're talking about?
yeah, go for it.
Are you talking about Valerie Nichushkin?
You read my mind.
Yes, I knew it. Too smart, man. I'm too smart.
No, every once in a while, I have to remind myself that Nate McKinnon is not the captain of the Colorado Avalanche, and it's
Honestly, so
a
do
little
I.
wild to me. He seems like an super obvious pick for me. Maybe the one like the most obvious out of everybody we've picked out of all these teams so far. Cale Makar is another very obvious choice for me. Um, and the other one, another long reigning Colorado Avalanche in Mikko Rantanen.
Yeah, I like your picks. I mean, I think McKinnon is definitely, the tried and true captain of that team. If Gabriel Landeskog never plays again, I do think Makar is in that mix. I'm going to shake it up a bit on you. I think Devin Tays could be an option.
I like Taves a lot.
Yeah, if he resigns, that is, because he's UFA.
Yeah, he's a player that like we were talking about being underrated like Sorelli. I think Devon Taves is another insanely underrated player in the league. He's just
Oh, he's that good. He
he's
is that
solid.
guy.
Yeah, no,
Um,
he was a crucial piece in that cup team. You don't hear enough talk about him, but he was a very crucial player.
Lou got fleeced on that. What was
Oh,
it, two
big time.
second round picks for him?
Lou
Yeah,
getting fleeced since when?
since actually, what was his last trade even?
Who knows? I don't remember.
I don't even remember his last trade. Oh, I think it was Bo Horvat.
I don't know if that's a fleecing, but
I mean, Beauvillier did have a better second half of the season than Horvat did, so you never know.
yeah,
Um, I do have two more teams though that have captains, but I do not know if they're going to be sticking around much longer.
go for it.
First one is San Jose, right? Couture seems to come up in trade talks like every single year now. I think it's just a matter of time before they eventually just fully blow it up and trade him. So I do think that they're going to be in the market again for another captain. I mean, he hasn't really been captain that long. He got the captaincy as soon as Joe Pavelski left. But I do think there are a couple guys in the system already that would be prepared to succeed him. And I think Mark-Edward Vlasic could be an option. I think that Tomas Hertl could be an option. I think Mario Ferraro could realistically be the captain of the San Jose Sharks too, as they go through a sad and dark rebuild.
Yeah, it all depends. Vlasic. He's getting up there in age. We'll see. If they want to give him the C, he might be looking at retiring eventually. One of these
Yeah, but he's
times.
still got like another 4 years on his deal or something.
Uh, you know, Hurdle seems like one of the more obvious choices for me. I also think Kevin LeBanc could be in discussion as well.
I could see it. I do think though ultimately, if they're looking for a future run, I do think it could be Mario Ferraro. He's one of those young up and coming defensemen. He's already wearing an A. He's only like 23 or something. So yeah, I think Mario Ferraro could definitely be like a shoe-in as the captain.
Yeah, I had him in mind too. He's he seems to be a real up and coming guy on that roster and seems like a good pick.
Yeah, I do think Mario Ferraro could be the option. Then yeah, one more team that I was kind of thinking, and I mean it's just pretty obvious, but Buffalo Sabres, Kyle Pozo's only on a 1 year deal. I think he's just going to keep doing 1 year deals as long as he can, but I ultimately think he's just stopgapping. I think he might just retire at the end of the year. Um, you know, again, I think there's a couple options that they could definitely go down, a couple different avenues.
Yeah, there's a few options. Uh, you know, uh, Tage Thompson seems like an obvious pick. Um, Cousins seems like a pick, but I also really like Alex Tuck as a captain option.
See, they have so many options they could have to be a captain because, yeah, no, like for sure, Tage Thompson, he's the best player on that team. Dylan Cousins plays like a captain. He's been a captain before. He just, he'll stick up for his teammates. He just carries himself that way. Alex Tuck, hometown boy, he's going to be a fan favorite, definitely a possibility. Jeff Skinner, he's been around for a long time now. He's one of the veteran guys on the team. I think he could be an option. Rasmus Dahlin, he's the future face of the team. I don't think you can go wrong with Dahlin. Owen Power could definitely be in the mix in a couple years. Like they could go any direction here, and it wouldn't really be a bad pick.
No, any of those guys you listed are solid picks. And I don't know if there's an obvious choice, but if they were to pick any of those guys listed, I think that would be I wouldn't complain about any of them.
Yeah, I think honestly, I do think they go Rasmus Dahlin because I
Dahlin,
know there were rumors of it being him this year before they re-signed Okposo.
yeah, I didn't list him in mine, but Dahlin is a really solid pick. He's really coming to his own in the league, and he seems to have that leadership down pat. He guides that the decor there in Buffalo, and he just seems like a natural born leader.
Yeah, well, and at that point too, when you're Buffalo, you need to pick a guy that you know is going to be there for the future. So a Dahlin or a Cousins, right? You're right there on that playoff window, so you need to pick a guy that's going to be able to lead you all the way through. Like as soon as Okposo's gone, they're gonna name a new guy, and it's going to be one of the younger guys, I think.
Definitely somebody that's going to be around for a long time, as
Yeah,
long as
I
Opozo has been.
yeah. Well, I mean, Pozo, he's in his like late 30s now, so I'd assume he's probably hanging it up soon. Um, I'm not sure how much time we have left, but you want to play a quick game of who was this team's last captain?
Yeah, let's go for it real quick.
Alrighty, Anaheim Doc. Actually, no, no, no. We already talked about that.
We
I
already
got ones
mentioned
that
that.
you might not know.
Okay, go for it.
Alrighty, give me a second. Who was before Jamie Benn? Who was the captain prior?
Good question. I have to think about that. I have no idea, honestly.
Hint. Oh wait, no. Actually, that's not even a hint at all. I was completely wrong word.
I'm
Starts with an M.
thinking that far back. Was it Mike Modano?
Mike Modano was ahead of Jamie Benn, but that's not who it was.
I was gonna say that seems like a big gap in between.
It was actually Brendan Morrow.
Oh, true.
Yeah, yeah, got you
Wow.
there. All right, who was the last captain of the Detroit Red Wings?
It was Zetterberg.
Edward, good pick. Who was the last captain of the Edmonton Oilers?
Before McDavid?
Yeah,
Oh crap.
I said it earlier.
We did mention it earlier.
I did mention it earlier.
We did mention that one earlier. Who was it? Um, Andrew Ferris.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, who was it on the Florida Panthers?
Panthers
Barkov.
before Barkov. Um, Trying to think of my Florida Panthers. It's not a team I'm super knowledgeable about. I don't remember.
Derek McKenzie.
Oh, that's the name I haven't heard in a long time.
Yeah, right. Um, there is a team or there is a player in the league that he was the last captain for two teams.
Mark Giordano.
Oh crap! Never mind. There's two guys that were the captain of two teams.
Um,
This one's also a defenseman, if that helps.
um, Crap.
He's an Arizona Coyote right now too.
Oh, he's Arizona. That's not
He
what I was
is. Well, his
thinking of.
contract's in Arizona. He's not playing, but his
Was
contract is there.
Shea Weber?
It is.
Haha.
All right. Who is previous captain of the Pittsburgh Penguins?
The
You're gonna have to go back
Penguins.
like 15 years for this.
It was Mario Lemieux.
It was. All right, all right, all right. This will be good. This will be good. Who was the last captain of the Washington Capitals?
Oh, see, I don't remember. I can picture it, but I can't. I don't remember the name.
Starts with a C. Actually, both names start with a C.
No, I'm not gonna get it. I know. I
It's Chris Clark.
Yeah, I couldn't get that one. I know. I knew I didn't know that one.
All right, and Vegas.
Vegas? Who was their first captain? Um, was Pacioretty a captain in Vegas?
Not in Vegas. He was the captain in
He was
Montreal.
in
Honestly, I forgot
Montreal.
Patrick Reddy
Yeah.
was in Vegas.
Who was their captain? I gotta go. I gotta look back on that original team of Misfits. Um,
Well, I can tell you who it was. You're not going to believe me.
was it Alex Tuck?
It was Alex Tuck was like 21.
No, he was on the original team.
He was on the original team, but he was like a young gun. He wasn't that old.
Yeah, but he was on the inaugural squad.
It wasn't Alex Tuck though,
Okay.
because
No,
Mark
I'm
Stone, Alex Tuck was still on the team when Mark Stone got it.
okay. Um, I can't remember
But you know
honestly.
who wasn't? Now you're never gonna believe this, but you know who was on the Vegas Golden Knights before Mark Stone got there and before Mark Stone was named captain?
Shoot.
Ladies and gentlemen, your inaugural Vegas Golden Knights captain. Nobody.
I
Mark Stone was the first.
didn't know that
Actually,
actually.
yeah, no, Mark
I
Stone was the first. Engelland was like the stand-in captain, but he
Yeah.
never actually wore the C. I was actually going to make a joke about Lucas Pisa and see if I could throw you off, but I realized it'd be better if I drummed it up just for you to realize it was absolutely nobody.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if there was actually somebody there or not. That seems like so long ago already.
I mean, it really was. It was what, like 5 years ago, 6 years ago now?
Yeah.
And well, I mean, I'd ask you who the last Toronto Maple Leafs captain was, but you'd know it in a heartbeat because you're a Leafs fan.
Dion Phaneuf.
I don't even know where he went.
Yeah.
Went to
He
Ottawa,
went
he
to
went to LA,
LA.
and he disappeared. No, he went to Ottawa. Then he went to LA, and
Yeah.
then he disappeared.
Yeah.
Nobody
I
knows
saw
about him.
I saw a surprising amount of Phaneuf jerseys yesterday.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, just wait and till I bust out my Gardner jersey.
You know the best one I saw yesterday?
Wow,
A Leafs Andrew Raycroft jersey.
I'm sure that was a cute sight. I'm gonna get a Leafs Justin Pogge jersey. Why not,
I would I would buy a Marinson jersey.
bro? I wanted a Marincin jersey so bad. Marincin was one like my favorite player on the team.
We could just
Marincin was
name
on it.
off.
Bro, Morenson was one of those guys where, you know, he wasn't good 5-on-5. You put him out on the penalty kill, he was the best damn player in the league.
We could just name off guys that just would be hilarious to have jerseys of.
Ozhiganov,
Mike Van Ryan,
uh, Peter Holland.
Peter Holland. Holy hell, I haven't heard that name in a while. Um, trying to think. I'm trying to go like deep cuts here. Um, I actually know somebody who has a Gautier jersey.
Nice. I got one. Where even is Goche? I think he's out in like Europe now.
Yeah, I think he went back home.
I thought Goche was from Quebec.
I don't think so.
Freddie Gauthier. No, man, he's from Quebec. Give me
Is
a
he?
second. Give me a second. Frederick Gauthier. Gauthier. He's Canadian, bro.
Oh,
He's
rip.
he's 28 years old. He is from Laval, Quebec. How'd you even get
Rip.
Europe?
I don't know. It sounded
Name is
European.
French. It's French.
I
Gauthier is French.
Well, it's weird to see a French Canadian not play for the Habs, so
Oh, anyways, I'll name you one. Gerbinian Holzer. One of those jerseys. Not many people talk about Gerbinian these days.
no, there has been zero discussion.
Um, Stuart Percy,
Oh,
Tyler Biggs,
same draft class, didn't play a game.
Tuukka Rask,
Tuukka Rask. Oh God.
Leafs legend,
Leafs legend Tuukka
Garrett
Rask.
Sparks,
Oh, Sparks
Michael
Hutchinson.
Hutchinson, Casimir
Oh,
Kaskisuo.
jeez.
You gotta have
Uh,
some fun.
yeah, we're getting way off track here though.
Yeah, well, I mean, why not? It's that time of the night.
Yeah, honestly, I think we've run our time limit here.
Yeah, we're gonna start annoying people now. Sorry,
Yeah.
guys. We didn't mean to. We didn't mean to annoy you guys all night. We're just kind of having fun here. We're really tired individuals today.
If anybody is still watching, kudos to you.
Yes, you get a cookie. Just type in the comments what kind of cookie you want. That's how we know
Dad's
that you watched the whole thing.
dad's oatmeal.
Yes.
I want to sign this baby off.
Yeah, why not? I'm going to bed.
Alrighty. Oh, one more for you. Who was the last captain of the Whalers?
Francis?
No.
I know that the last active player that played for the Whalers was Giguere.
Yeah.
Last captain of the Whalers.
I hope I'm right on this one.
Ow?
No. No. If I remember correctly, I'm gonna check my phone real quick. Was Kevin Dineen.
Ooh, never would have
Let's
got
check
that.
check this out. I'm second guessing. Yeah, he was their captain for the final season in 96-97.
Oh yeah, well, who was the captain of the Cleveland Barons?
Oh God.
Bro, I
Before
can't
we
even
go
think of it.
before we get too deep in this, let's sign this off.
Yeah, why not? Sorry for the torture, folks.
Well, thank you for joining us on another episode of Riding the Pine. From my liney, Drake White.
Have a good night, folks.
Thank you for riding out on Riding the Pine.